eSIM or electronic SIM. Previously, we came to know this card as our SIM card, a little chip that activates your phone on the network of your choice. If going to Verizon, you used a Verizon SIM card, AT&T, an AT&T SIM card, and so on. An eSIM can be a term meant to add a second line to a phone that supports eSIM to have two different phone numbers on one phone. You can even have two different carriers on one phone with an eSIM. In both cases, the phone would have to support it. These two phones I have with me are both eSIM compatible, an iPhone 14 and a Google Pixel 7. Both of them have two numbers on each through Verizon. They were offering a 30-day test drive to test their service when doing an eSIM and bringing your own device to their network. We're going to go through the phones in just a bit to see what it actually looks like. Make a few phone calls and check out the settings you will want to use when doing a second line, aka eSIM, on a phone. But first, let's discuss why you would want a second line on your current phone. Business owners who want a phone number for personal and one for business. You're an employee who currently gives out your personal number to clients, and maybe you want to use a different one should you ever leave that company or would like to turn off that line at times to truly enjoy your days off. If you have a side hustle and use apps to advertise, such as eBay, Craigslist, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace. Well, John, those apps usually use a messaging feature so I don't have to give out my number. That's true, except when registering you typically have to use a phone number, and eBay has called me before to discuss transactions. I also have received calls through Facebook Messenger, and even though it's done through the app, I would still not want to leave it up to chance. You're currently dating and living your best life single and carefree. But you want to be cautious and don't necessarily want to be putting your personal cell out there on social media and dating apps. Of course, if you're running into an issue and need to change the number, it's no biggie, because it's not your personal one anyways. Those are just a few of the reasons you may want a second line on your current eSIM capable phone. Now let's dive into the phones and really see what it looks like. So we have the iPhone 14 here, we have the Google Pixel 7 here. Now with the iPhone 14 series, all of them, they don't come with a physical SIM card, right? This is not in the phone at all. When you look around the phone, there's no spot to even put it. The Pixel does come with a physical SIM card, but they both have eSIM capability. eSIM on the whole phone, and then you have eSIM on the secondary IMEI or ESN number. So I'm taking you through some of the setup because eSIM, electronic SIM, needs a Wi-Fi connection to activate. So upon setting up the iPhone, you'll see setting up cellular, activating eSIM, and connecting iPhone to Verizon cellular network. This may take a few minutes. Google wants me to sign in. We're going to go ahead and skip that. I have them both on my Wi-Fi already. The Pixel, because it is a physical SIM on the first, did pop up initially and said your phone is activated, here is your number, which typically happens when you have a physical SIM. So going through the steps, it does take a little bit to set up. You can see on the cellular piece for the iPhone, we're just going through and skipping. And I have done an unboxing on both of these phones, so feel free to check that out on the channel if you want a little bit more. You'll see cellular setup complete. It's got a phone number there. Swipe to navigate. We're gonna skip that. All set. We swipe up. We're in the phone. We hit continue on the iPhone. We're going to continue here. We're going to set that up later. Passcode, don't use. Don't use. Don't transfer. We're going to skip this, set up later. I also did a video on this, how to bypass all these setup stuff. Let's see, we'll set up Siri later. That's fine. Don't share. Continue. We'll do zoomed. And then this is your emergency SOS functions that are coming to the iPhone. You have press and hold for emergency SOS, crash detection, coming fall 2022, emergency SOS via satellite. Sometimes you don't see those things until you actually get in the phone. So we are in the iPhone. We are in the Pixel. All right, so we have both eSIMs active, one in the Pixel, one in the iPhone. As you're going through the setup, you have the screen here on the iPhone that says your default line is used to call or send messages to people who are not in your contacts. The people in your contacts can be assigned a preferred line at any time in the Contacts app. So we'll just hit primary, as we want to be our default line. Hit continue, iMessage and FaceTime, and choose which cellular plans you want to use with iMessage and FaceTime for your Apple ID. So for instance, say that you have more data on one of your plans than the other. If you have the same, it doesn't matter, right? But you can toggle and use the one that has the most data. Of course, with iMessage and FaceTime, it's typically on a Wi-Fi basis that you would be able to have that. We're just gonna hit primary. Cellular data, and this is an option here where you can allow cellular data switching. So say on the primary, I have more data. On the business, I don't have as much data. So my default line for cellular data, if you want the best coverage, you can enable cellular data fallback. I'm going to use primary, but I'm going to allow data switching to give me an option. So it is set up. You've got your eSIM, primary on, business on. You can actually go into, we were talking earlier about, say that you're an employee that gets a lot of sales calls on your personal line, you want to set up a business line, you want to have your off days be your off days. You can actually go into, and I have it as business, you can go into where it says turn on this line, and then you can actually turn it off. And we're going to do a test. We're going to call that number from the Pixel. We'll bounce over to the Pixel in a little bit here to get a look and see what that looks like. So we're going to dial the number. We're just going to mute it. Put it on speaker. All right, so I have that line off on this phone, and I'm calling the number. So to illustrate,
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to
and I haven't set up a voicemail, so that is accurate.
Please try your call again later. Goodbye.
So that answers the question of, well, John, if I turn off this line, does it actually turn it off? Or does that mean if people call me and leave voicemails, leaving voicemails, right? Just like if you turn your phone off and turn it back on, it's not going to show any missed calls because your phone wasn't on. Text messages that come through, yes, but if anyone calls you and it's a missed call, you're not going to see the missed call, but you will see the voicemails, you will see the text messages. It's no different here. Turning on this line, turning off this line basically is the same thing as turning the phone off. You'll still get voicemails, you'll still get text messages, people can still call you, but you'll want them to leave a voicemail, of course, so you know that they called. But yes, that does work. So that is nice to know that you can do that. So we turned it back on. We'll just do another call just to show you. We're gonna go to recents, go to that same number that we just called. And then it's ringing. All right, so we know that works. So in terms of your iPhone, you have your text message. When you go into your text messages, it's gonna look like this. So let's say that we compose, we're gonna say Jon the Wireless Guy message. It's gonna pop up here, primary. Well, I can also choose business. We're gonna do primary. Test. There we go, that's how that looks. And then we just got it on here. Now, on this one, we go to text messages. It says chat features are ready because we have two different SIMs. That was a voicemail. So now we're going to message the other. That's our SIM cards changed. Tap to set up. Let's see. Preferred. All right, so calls and SMS, similar to what we just looked at with the iPhone. On calls, I have my preferred line, the 0669, and then I have 0668. Okay, so preferred is a 68. Texting, preferred is a 68. Now I believe Wi-Fi calling off and off, so you can have Wi-Fi calling on for those. When we go into, we're in network and internet, we can go into, we click here, okay, we can edit. So on this one, you can actually, a little bit different. There's not pre options you can choose. So we got that as personal. And we're gonna go here, and we're just gonna put this one as business. Of course, you can put it as whatever you want. And it tells you what you used. So in this scenario, all right, so in this one, I put in the numbers. So this one is the 0668. And then if you're wondering what number it is now, it actually does not say there. Let's see, SMS preference. Okay. So it doesn't tell you which numbers which, but I'm pretty sure the personal is the 0668. So we go to personal. If we click on use SIM, turn off personal, yes. So that is now off, and now we're going to call update preferred SIM card. Business is the only SIM in your device. Do you want to use this SIM for mobile data, calls, and SMS messages? Well, if we have this one off, we have to hit yes, right, until we have some kind of service. So we're going to call personal, down on speaker, put on mute, and I believe I set up, it'll just be like a general email, voicemail on the Pixel.
72747.
So same scenario, right? You're an employee or business owner, any of those, right? Whatever you want to call it. But you can turn off a phone. All right, that's what it comes down to. You can turn off personal, you can turn off business, you can turn off whatever you call them. You can call it dating, right? You can call it Etsy, eBay, Facebook, whatever you want to title it. You can turn off that line when you don't want to get calls from that number. As long as the person leaves a voicemail, or if they text, you'll get those when you turn that line back on. So we're going to turn this one back on. Give it a moment. It's turned on. So now calls preference, use personal for mobile data. Sure. So we have calls preference personal, SMS preference personal, mobile data. Now it didn't look like preferred network type 5G. You know how on iPhone we showed where you can toggle data or elect which line to use more data from? I'm not seeing this option on the Pixel. Calls, SMS, mobile data, access data using mobile network. Well, yes, we need that. App data usage, it's just letting you know how much data you used. So I'm not seeing that on here. And when we go to text, we're going to start a new chat. And we're going to go to Jon The Wireless Guy. Now it has the recent message, texting with. So doesn't seem, we're going to do the other message. So we're going to do, all right, so here's both numbers. So we're going to do the other number and see which one, options anyway. Okay, so here it says texting with 727-247-0667. It doesn't say personal or business. I imagine you would know which number is which. I'm just setting these up so I don't know. I think that's the personal because that's how I have it set up as a default. Now if we click this, okay, texting with, so text business. All right, I just saw that pop up. Oh, okay, so 1 or 2. Oh, nice. Okay, so it's not, I was hitting this bar. It's not this bar, it's actually this, text personal. I hit the 1, now I go to 2, text business. So very nice. So you can toggle through here which one you want to use. Now let's go to our existing contact that we have here. All right, so text business, text personal. All right, so you can, and then it says here 5 minutes ago from personal. All right, so let's choose business. Test, we'll just do 2. All right, so it shows here it was sent through business. This one, okay, so you just got to click on it. So it does tell you if you're texting someone and by accident you text them from one of the numbers when you meant to do it from the other, it'll actually tell you that. You're not going to realize it because it's in the same thread, but they're going to get a text from 2 different text messages, just like it did here. So that's how it would look to them, unless they have you in their contact, but it would still show a different number, so it'd still be a different message stream on their number when they message you. On the phone you're sending, at least from the Pixel, you're going to see personal business, and you can click on it, and then it'll let you know. Then from here, it's just one stream. When making a phone call, so we're just going to go into the keypad. We're going to dial 24. We'll do this one because it's not in the contacts. And if we call, let's see, let's click these 3 dots, add a 2-second pause. Oh, that's actually interesting. Add a wait time. I don't know which number I'm calling from, and I can't choose it. What if I delete this out? All right, I'm about to make a phone call. Let's see if we hold in call. No. Oh, that's cool. It does the number I had last up. All right, so I do call. It's calling via business, but it didn't give me an option to choose before I sent it. Now you can change SIM here. It's hanging up. It said calling via personal. So now, when I go back to that, that's the history. I'll just do calling via business. So that's interesting. Before you're gonna make a call, I guess that's why you have it as the default line. Your favorites, your recents, your contacts. Call history, settings. No, that's interesting. Okay, so let's go to iPhone. I'm about to make a phone call. I'm going to dial, let's see, what are these numbers? Let's go, let's see. I'm gonna go into settings, and we'll go to network, and we'll go to SIMs. Still doesn't show me the phone numbers. All right, we're gonna go to about, there we go. So now we have the phone numbers for SIM slot 1 and SIM slot 2. So we're gonna dial this number here. All right, so right there, primary. All I did was put the number in. Now, yes, I have that number saved in this phone, but it comes up as primary. Now, if I click this, I can use business. I like that you can toggle before I'm about to call someone, because even though I have it as a preference to do everything through personal, well, what happens when I want to make a call to through business? Let's dial the number that I don't have saved in here. So it didn't come up. I have business. It's calling here. We're gonna hang up. Let's do it again. But this time I want to dial from personal or primary. There we go. So that was very seamless. I like that. So you got your text, right? I'm about to text Jon the Wireless Guy. From primary, no, I want to do business. All All right, and so you can see here, similar on the Pixel, it showed initially personal, and then it was sent business. Same message thread, but they see it on two different text messages because it's coming from two different numbers. So when we go into the text messages here, this is when we just got test 2. And then I respond, I'd be responding from personal, or I could do business. So text-wise on the Pixel, similar to iPhone. Maybe it's me, I'm just not figuring out here what number am I calling from? Why can't I change it? Before you make a phone call, you would go into settings, and then you're gonna go, it's either gonna be cellular, SIMs, okay, business, is calls preference, business preferred, SMS business preferred. So right now I have it on business for both. So I'd have to change it there to personal. Business is active, but the default for mobile data calls is personal. So now when I go here and I go to dial, now it's going to say call via personal. I mean, there's gotta be an easier way before I make a phone call to be able to adjust it. I mean, if you know, please let me know. I mean, unless it's some sort of software update that's coming to make this a little simpler, that I can understand. I'm just not seeing another way to do it. I hit call, it just brings up my last call. I hit the 3 dots, it's a 2-second pause or a wait. So every time you want to make a call, not using whatever your default is, you have to switch it and go into the settings. Now when someone calls you, you don't have to do that, right? Because it's an incoming call, it'll come through personal or business. So incoming, you're fine. In text, you're fine. Outgoing calls seems a little bit of a couple extra steps that don't seem to need to be there. Wanted to show you too, top here, you look at, you have 2 antenna bars. The top is your eSIM 1, the bottom is your eSIM 2. So if you have 2 different carriers, you can see which one is the strongest, so you can toggle to know which one to use. And then the same with the Pixel. So you'll see that there's 2 there as well, and you can see the signal strength. Now let's say that you want to add a contact. Went through, deleted the contacts I had in there. I want to add a new contact, and I want to see if it allows me to choose which personal or business I want to set it up as. So we've got that. We're going to create new contact. All right, and we have add to contacts, so more details, add to existing, so we can hit more details. All right, so now we have company, label, mobile, phone, home. You can hit the 3 dots, help and feedback, more fields, phonetic last name, mobile. I'm not, oh, okay, label. No, that's if you, okay. So if you want to create a label. So I'm not seeing anywhere where it asks, do you want to save it under the personal or business to know which one you want to send it or save it to know how to call. All right, so we hit save. We go back into contacts, and then we see Jon the Wireless Guy there. It says when it was added. Set calling SIM. Haha. So it's once you have the contact created, set calling SIM. I want to set this as business. All right, so now it says mobile via business. Okay, so not in the actual setting up of the contact, but once you have the contact established. Now we go out, we go back in, and I'm like, you know what? I want to change this to personal. Well, there we go. So not bad. Pretty good. All right. So let's look at iPhone. So we're going to go into contacts. We're going to do add the wireless guy. And we're going to scroll down. We're going to do add phone. And then this number is going to be, we go to settings, and then we're going to go to about, and then we'll use, all right, so we have the number in, we have the contact name, text tone, add instant, add field, let's see. No. So it's the same as the Pixel. All right, so we hit done. Last use primary. Okay, well, because I previously had it in there. But let's say that I didn't last use, well, now you can do business. Always use business. Always use primary. Or whatever you last used to call them. So it does give you a third option, which is nice. Now if we hit edit, you can also do it there. So it's within, once you have the contact established, it's here, or it's going to be under edit and under the preferred where you can change it. What did you think of that? Did you enjoy going through the phones with me, eSIMs? How do you think you would use it? What'd you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Are you iPhone? Are you Pixel? Samsung also does a dual SIM. That's the only ones that I know of in terms of, the US, what have you. And when you look at the iPhone, right, there is no physical SIM card tray at all. Nothing in here. The only way to activate this is on eSIM. Pixel 7, you still have a tray on the phone, which is right there. So you have a physical SIM card tray. And physical SIM card meaning one of these here, right? You have your SIM card that pops out and it goes into the device to activate it. Of course, when you get a new device, it comes on the box, it's already in there. The reason you would need one of those is if you're bringing your own device and it didn't come with a SIM, or you're changing companies and it will work on the network. That may be why you would need a physical SIM card. In terms of a phone that requires one. What do you think about eSIM? What would you use a secondary number for? Are you Pixel? Are you iPhone? Would you want to do a dual SIM on your Samsung? Let me know in the comments below. As always, like, share, subscribe. We're working on 500 subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button for me. And we appreciate all of you. Make it a great day.